Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. It is 12:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this 19th day of March 2021. Taking a look at another cryptocurrency on this Friday, we have Link. It's going to look a little weird. I did an article about DOT yesterday, kind of touching on something that I like to do with cryptocurrencies when I do a lot of chart analysis. A lot of times you'll see cryptocurrencies have wicks all over the place. I mean, the wicks that exist on cryptocurrencies are pretty substantial. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of times they're very anomalous in nature, where they're not very good representations of traded price action. They look more like what you would see in some cheap, like penny stocks or things over the counter, pink sheets that have very little participation, and so you'll see these really weird swings that occur. And believe it or not, cryptocurrencies are still very illiquid. They're still very new, with the exception of things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. For the most part, the altcoin market is still something that is extremely volatile, not just because it's the more speculative side of cryptocurrencies, but because of the lack of volume and lack of participation. That is changing. We're seeing that change. But so what I like to do with a lot of cryptocurrencies that I look at is I like to get rid of the wicks, because then I see only the open and the close, which really is probably the most important components of the candlestick, is what they call the body. And that is, where did price start and where did it end? That is what you want to figure out. And when you get rid of the wicks, you get a lot cleaner and more efficient picture. But bringing back what I've drawn here, so these are all price measurements based on the swings and not using the wicks. These are just using the open and the close. And a good idea, and something that you should try, is measure the swing structure that exists on whatever cryptocurrency you trade, because you'll be able to determine a couple things. First is a market contracting or expanding? If the swings that are moving up start to decrease, that is a sign of contraction. If you are seeing the retracements or the pullbacks, if they're starting to increase and get bigger each time there's a pullback, that is a sign of inherent weakness, and that you could see a move south. But also, really what it does most importantly is you get kind of a baseline measurement of what the average pullback is, or the average retracement that an instrument faces. And with Bitcoin, there's 10 plus years worth of data. So we know that the average pullback in a bull phase is between 38 and 52%. It's pretty big distribution, but that's normal. On any other financial instrument, this would be something where you would like throw up, but for cryptocurrencies, this is totally normal. So, looking at Link from the earliest data from September of 2017 to this, the high close in January of 2018, that's what we see. And just keep going on the swings. Look at the percentages as opposed to the number, the amount of dollars it's increased, because when you're dealing with cryptocurrencies where things start off at 14 cents and now they're trading at $40, you need to look at a chart logarithmically. If we looked at it from a linear perspective, this is what the chart looks like. Okay, that really doesn't give us a good idea of what's happening. Logarithmic is a measure of proportion. That gives us a whole much cleaner idea of what's happening. So looking at the percentage moves here, that we had a 1,500% move higher, 52% drop, 176% move higher, 55% drop, 846% move higher, 50% drop, 263.5% higher, and a 50% drop. What are you seeing happening here? The biggest one is that over the last, really, I guess, just over the last, 2.5 years or so, the major pullbacks that occur on Link, at least, are around 50%. This isn't really enough data to say that for certain because we only have actually really 3 primary pullbacks to determine uh, uh, that are useful for this, but 50% is a pretty good range to go off of. And, whether or not this expansion process is going to last, we did see 1,500% move higher, 50% retracement, then 176% higher. Then you kind of gotta allow for some I don't know what the word is for it, but I should have changed that. I should have put this in here too. This was a 182% rise. But if you're looking for some place to get long on a pullback, look for that 50% retracement from the highest close and open. And so for Link, that would be from this current level up here at the $34 range. You'd be looking to get long around that $17 even, maybe up to 17 40, 17.50, but that's where you would look to go long. If you see price break down below this support level here, or if price drops down below 9.40, that's probably a level to start getting anxious about, because what that does is it shows us that we may experience our first kind of broader corrective move where we could see it revisit that $5 to $6 level. And in dollar amounts, again, don't think of this as dollar amounts. Think of it as percentage moves. That's what you really, really want to look at. There has not been a big 50% drive south over the long term here. I mean, a 50% move, going from a proportional 50%, we'd have to adjust the scale a little bit, but a return back down to that $4.89 seems weird, but it's really not. It's a very doable retracement, even though it's fairly large. So just keep that in mind. I mean, most cryptocurrencies that have existed for greater than 5 or 6 years, they've had 3 or 4 greater than 70% retracements, and Link has only had 1. That was back in 2018, early 2018. So keep an eye out on that. As far as how much higher it could move, I'd be a little leery about it. You can throw some trend lines down on here. This is also what I like about removing the wicks, is drawing trend lines from the bodies is generally a pretty good idea. Something that you'll notice about Link is that the bottom trend lines, they're fanning up. This is indicative of something known as a parabolic rise. And we're getting into a scenario where we're seeing it kind of form an apex up here in a pattern known as a rising wedge. That is dangerous. It really just so happens that the 940 zone, above that at $12 even, if we see it drop below $12 even, we'll probably see a waterfall collapse, down to that $5 level. But again, just watch out for how these markets move. Link has been a very strong outperformer. It's done very well in 2018 and all through 2019, and it's continued to do well in 2020. So if there is going to be a leader that will lead a broad corrective move, it will probably be Link that is that leader. So just keep an eye out for that. From all of us here at Exchange Rates UK TV, thank you for watching, and look forward to speaking with you all next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.